Meditation with Cats. Written by Manoj Das. Narrated by Samir Ranjan Das. At the foot of the hill, on the river bank, lived a hermit. The forest around the hill provided him with the fruit and vegetables he needed. The water of the river was pure. The people of the nearby villages were happy to repair his hut from time to time. In fact, they were happy to do anything for the hermit. But his needs were few. Several people came to him. They took his advice and blessings and went away. But one young man stayed with him, though the hermit had never asked him to do so. It must be admitted that the young man served the hermit with devotion. He styled himself as the hermit's confidant, and the hermit did not mind that. The people called him Chela Baba, the chief disciple. One night, through his meditation, the hermit got a call from his guru who lived in the Himalayas. "I am off to the high hills," the hermit announced to Chela Baba. The young man was shocked, but he knew that it was beyond his or anybody else's capacity to stop the hermit from doing what he had decided to do. "Please take me with you," pleaded Chela Baba. The hermit smiled, but told him that he must go alone. "When will you be back?" asked Chela Baba anxiously. "Why should I be back at all? I am an ascetic. I go wherever I like. I have no attachment for any place," replied the hermit. "What will happen to this beautiful hermitage?" asked Chela Baba with great concern. The hermit laughed. "The hut was for me. I was not for the hut. So many castles and forts had been reduced to dust. What does it matter if a hut is gone?" "What will happen to your devotees?" asked Chela Baba. "God takes care of all," was the hermit's reply. Chela Baba did not appear to appreciate his master's reply. He wept and said, "Master, at least allow me to live here till you return." The hermit took pity on the young man who, after all, had served him so well. Chela Baba was allowed to remain there, claiming to be the hermit's chief disciple and heir. The hermit roamed about the Himalayas after he had met his guru. Some 30 years passed. One day, he remembered his hut by the river and the villagers who loved and adored him. He decided to pay a visit to the place. He walked for several months and approached his old familiar hill. Much had changed in that region and nobody recognized him. On his way to his old hut, he had to pass through an annual fair. In his great surprise and amusement, he came across cats and kittens being sold in one part of the fair. "This one is destined to grow up as a wonderful tomcat, most suitable for meditation," a salesman exclaimed, holding up a kitten that had stripes. "Mine is bound to prove the finest tabby in the region, if you care for deep meditation," shouted another. "Come here. These kittens are the direct descendants of the one with whom the great hermit himself meditated," declared a third one. But this one's grandmother had been blessed by Chela Baba, shouted a fourth voice. The hermit was perplexed. He took a man aside and observed, "Gentleman, I have never seen a cat fair anywhere. How can you? Chela Baba's disciples live mostly in this area. Naturally, the cat is very important to them and we have devoted a part of our annual fair for selling cats," said the man. This did not satisfy the hermit's curiosity. He kept walking towards his old hut. On the way, he heard an old man chiding his son. "How could you think of meditating without the cat tied to the pillar? What will Chela Baba think of you if he comes to hear your outrageous conduct?" Deeply puzzled, the hermit reached the river bank. His old hut was still there, but it was maintained as a sacred shrine. Chela Baba lived in a fine building dedicated to him by his admirers. A number of disciples attended upon him. All those present looked at the visitor with some surprise, but nobody dared stop him. The hermit entered Chela Baba's room. It was evening. Chela Baba sat in meditation. Before him sat a cat, tied to a pillar. As the hermit looked on with compassion, he saw in his sheer vision all that had happened. Decades ago, he had a pet cat. It was in the habit of playing with his beard whenever it found him sitting quiet. When the hermit sat for meditation, he tied it to a pillar so that it could not disturb him. Chela Baba had observed this practice and had come to the conclusion that tying a cat to a pillar was the great secret of successful meditation. Soon Chela Baba opened his eyes and saw his master. He was about to cry out in joy, but the hermit stopped him in time and said, "I have no desire to attract the attention of others. I must leave this place forthwith. Master, please take me with you this time," pleaded Chela Baba in tears. The hermit realized that his pleading was genuine, naive though it be. Chela Baba was a good soul. "All right, meet me on the other side of the hill, alone, after a week. In the meantime, announce to your disciples that the age of meditating with cats tied to pillars had passed. Now on they can meditate without that ritual," advised the hermit and left for the hill.